Yo, yo. I'm gonna wait for a few to show up. Try to get the viewer count a little bit more on the average first, and then we'll get started. So the VOD I'm gonna review today is from my match against Cha1n. Believe it was week 3 of this second stage of the online portion of Quake Pro League. Um, and I'm gonna review that because there were some very interesting matchups that week in um, the pick ban process and what we ended up going with. And the matchups ended up being on Blood Covenant. We had the maps. What were our maps? Our maps were Blood Covenant, Veil, and Blood Run. And I ended up going with Visor against Nyx. Um, and then on Blood Covenant, then on Veil, it ended up being Keel versus Eisen, which is a very interesting matchup, which I'm going to be happy to kind of show you why I think that's a good matchup when it can't, like what Eisen needs to do to try to deal with that bad matchup to make it a little more even. Um, and then on Blood Run, it was Scalebearer versus Clutch, which is very interesting matchup indeed. And that map, it's kind of how with Clutch you're living on, and I wasn't playing Clutch, but the whole nature of Clutch is you're kind of living on the edge, and you either get these really clutch kills, pun intended, where you barely live with any health, but then you gain the entire map, or you die and then it really puts you behind. And we'll see during the course of that game that that happened both ways for Cha1n. And also, there were a couple situations where really I should have just played a bit more safe when I had the lead, but I was going for what statistically could have been a frag or two to end the game, like to put it out of reach. But in reality, I should have just dealt damage, maintained better positioning, and because of those mistakes, it led to him almost coming back and winning that map. And as the fact that points are doubled this stage, so that now for every map win that you get 4 points. And if you so right now that would mean if you go 2-1, you get 8 points. If you go 3-0, though, you double that, and so you get 16 compared to the last stage of 2, 2, and 8. So a 3-0 really matters in over the course of the world ranking leaderboard and accruing points, so that procuring points, sorry, so that you can get a better seeding going into these lands. But the thing is, on Blood Covenant, Visor versus Nyx is a very even matchup. So you would think that Visor has sight and Visor has a better stack, so he should be able to take advantage of that against Nyx. He should be a pure counter. But the problem is his passive is not as good as Nyx's is. Nyx's passive of being able to wall jump, that extra mobility for her to constantly obtain high ground on Blood Covenant is so crucial, because not only can she get the first shot off most of the time without needing sight like Visor needs, because she can obtain position first, she can bail herself out of those situations. And she might be able to have a fight where she does enough damage early that when she uses Invis, either A, Visor isn't going to be healthy enough to then take advantage of it, or she might have done enough initial damage that she can then chase down the kill. Um, so those are the negatives apart from Visor. So Visor, it's all about reading the map properly and your opponent, and knowing when to use sight to initiate the cutoff, to potentially get a lot of damage in first, so that even if Nyx envisages her trying to surprise you at a fight for a major item isn't going to mean shit. It'll just lead to her most like 90% chance of her dying. And that's what you want to do. You want to keep playing on those advantages, and then you want to take all of the light armors that you can and just keep soaking them up and maintain high ground and just pin her in the low parts of the map when you can, where she can't utilize her wall jumping as well. And you have to be willing to fight with a lot of LG rail tribolt in that matchup. Rockets can be difficult because if you meet her at pillars or you meet her at shotgun, she might be able to use the walls and the pillars to jump over your rockets and not take that much damage, and then she can get a lot of rocket or LG. I know the break screen's on. I have that on because I'm going to have the display capture on. So there is a method to that. I haven't started the VOD yet, so that's why. But so that's kind of the keys going into that matchup, and we'll try to break it down. Obviously, keys to success for Visor. Get her to burn Invis, and then you either A, you need to get the kill right after, or C, you need to collect the vials from her. Position so that either you can bait the vial pickups because she needs them desperately back in this matchup. She has to be using Invis more than you use Sight to win. So you can either constantly soak them up so you can keep using Sight, and then or you can bait her to fight there. And then the other note to take between them is that Nyx is typically more vulnerable off the spawn because she only starts with 125 health and 0 armor. So if she's spawning without Invis, Visor can potentially really punish her, and he could kind of take a risk sometimes with his extra stack to try to secure another frag, and then he can play safe and just use Sight for the next minute or two to slowly get control to be even. So let me get this VOD up. We'll get that going. Let me get it in full screen mode for you all before we do this. Okay, let's take this off. All right, we should be good. Now, we're pretty close to where the start of the VOD is. I'll try to figure out. Let me know. I'll have my phone open with chat. So just let me know when you guys, what you guys think of the volume from the VOD itself. And I'll try to adjust it accordingly, okay? Okay, so this is the only VOD that I'm doing today. I just figured that I would get something done right before the new year. Also, it helps me out because I need to make X amount of streaming hours, and this will be perfect. So it'll get me right there. This will take about an hour, hour and a half to get through these 3 maps, since we'll be pausing to kind of talk about things, and then I will try to take questions in between each map. Take a couple, so that if there anything that anybody's confused on or wants to have something expanded upon, I can try to answer for you. Okay? All right, so let's get this party started. Vroom vroom, party starter.
Does on the fly. Like he is so smart in power.
Let's skip ahead here. Should be right about there.
Go. We're finally ready for the last series.
So like I said, I am Visor. He is Nyx for this matchup.
Hashtag Quake Pro League. It's Cha1n.
So I like his start. If he went to LG, and he knows this from playing me a lot, that when I get nail gun spawn, I typically rush LG because if you don't hit any walls, you can make it there faster while shooting them with a better weapon than they can get to LG first. And then it's going to take time for them to switch to the LG if they've already been firing their base weapon to then attack you. And so what would happen is if I get there first and I deal damage before he invises, then I can just chase him down and get a frag right away. So he's taking the safest option to figure out where I am and what I'm going to do.
Versus Rapha, we're gonna be
so he's like, all right, I'll just go to high ground. And then he hears me go for rocket, so he realizes he can't go for rail yet. And he's making a good choice to just get stacked, realize that I'm going to have to go back. Let me actually turn them down. Their voice is a little too loud, I feel like, for myself here. Where I'm going to have to respect the fact that he has Invis and a stack now. So, and I don't have too many weapons to try to, deal with him immediately, so that I'm going to have to back off. I'm going to have to get, like rail and heavy armor. And so he's going to use that time to try to go get other weapons. Oh, sorry, I don't know why it is not working now. There we go.
Just role playing.
I'm rolling with it.
Okay, so as you can see in the top left, I used my sight. As soon as I'm going to get the railgun, I wanted to know, what's he going to try to pick up? Where is he going? Maybe I can deal some entry damage. And I managed to do that successfully and hit a rail. And now I know that I don't have sight advantage anymore if he uses Invis, but I have the positional and weapon advantage. So that's what I'm trying to go with for now. See, I'm doing my best to deny access to the rail area. And then here, I had already anticipated that he would jump over to the teleporter, but I didn't think that he was going to miss it. So I'm like, okay, I'll just collect this lower armor and then work my way towards the mega health, which comes up first. And he gives away his positioning, and I know he's so weak that I just time my jump into those rockets and get an easy first kill, which is the worst case scenario for Cha1n, to give up a frag within the first minute, and it was a clean kill.
Rapha's also managed to get the vials earlier than Cha1n, so he's going to be able to pop this.
Okay, so I'm thinking about his positioning. Let's go back. Let's go back a little bit here. Let's get in.
Rapha realizing that.
Let's think about this. So I know that he's taken the pad and he's going for the railgun. So he's either going to get rail and then try to quickly get position to get heavy. But I know he doesn't have Invis yet. There's no way. Not enough time has passed. He hasn't been able to collect vials. So if he goes for heavy, I'm going to all in and I'm going to kill him. But I see that he dropped. So I know my sight is coming back up. And since he dropped, I'm like, wow, okay, he must really be respecting where I'm coming from and what I'm doing. That he's not going to go anywhere near the heavy armor. So I'm going to try to use this opportunity to see if I can make the right read and catch him out for an extra kill since his Invis is down. And I do. I catch him perfectly trying to go for LG, and I can just chase this down. And it's an easy frag. He's either going to spawn... I don't know why it just skipped ahead. That's weird, but... whatever. But I have heavy, Mega's up, so I just want to be here to try to deal damage. Okay. Just making it safe on my way to Mega. And I know that he's not chasing me with Invis, because if he was, I would have heard the portal sound. That's some bad railing from me. I did finally hit one, but I really needed to hit the first one. Yeah, with that movement, he definitely heard me use it. So I knew, I was like, okay, I just want to figure out where I think he'll be near the end of it, and then go secure heavy. And this is, again, I know that he used Invis, so if he goes up the jump pad, he has nothing to get out of that terrible situation. And so, since I can get there quick enough, I make a nice quick rocket jump to secure positioning for this mega health. If I dropped down, I tried to drop down and fight, it's a really iffy and tough fight to take against Nyx at the pillar area, like I explained before, because she can use her passive and her wall jumping to make it difficult to judge where she's going to go and how she's going to dodge. So I'm like, okay, well, let me just eliminate that fight and just maintain control and have this dominating stack. So I know I can't really deny rail anymore, so I just need to try to catch him, like, coming from there.
Rapha's Tribal, I feel like, is one of those weapons that people don't really rate.
Yep, just safely trying to zone.
With it as well. So
That rail doesn't mean too much. It just means a lot if he can get this mega for free. But just being up here scared him enough, because he knew if he took one rail he might get knocked down anyway. Okay, that's a win for me. I forced Invis. I'd collected mega, taking no damage. And so now I'm just maintaining high ground, trying to listen out for him and figuring out what he wants to do. And I'm like, okay, well, I've denied him access to the vials for a while, so he at least still has another 15 seconds left. So now I'll go get heavy.
That rail was good. He hits another, it's perfect. That's all he needs to do for this point in time.
Now here, I figure he's going to think I'm waiting on Mega. Like, he's like, okay, I got 2 rails, let me go rotate around and try to cut him off. So I'm like, all right, let me see what happens if I use sight. And so I set up the play, and I know, okay, I might as well leave Mega at my back and go for this damage first and just see if I can make the best happen. And I managed to get the combo of
jeez.
rocket to rail. And he doesn't even get to use Invis because it's
Ridiculously well
just
timed.
about
It
to
was
come up.
so calculated.
That
What a smooth criminal.
absolutely perfect.
It doesn't get much better than that.
So I know that, yes, I do have... I did get the frag
Reading
pretty
chain
cleanly, but he's going to have
movement.
Invis, so I need to keep this heavy and
Rapha
mega
looking for the
rotation going
rail.
for as
That's
long as
something
I
to be
can.
aware of. Rapha could
So that I
capitalize
can just
off that.
keep bullying him. Keep dealing a bit of
Some
damage
chooses.
here and there. That's very risky. I don't know what he was thinking there. Like, he he should not have been there whatsoever. If he had hit me with like a direct rocket, then maybe he could have the balls to push in, but he didn't. He just kind of like invised going for a play and failed at it, and it gave me a free frag.
Aggressive and not worth it, unfortunately. Still only 4-0. That is a positive for Cha1n.
Ooh, that's a bad miss. I should have hit him for sure.
Does feel like the game is at a worse stage than it is.
Okay, now I just go out lower because he actually had position and health to keep railing, and it would have been bad for me to go mid. I could have taken too much extra damage, and then he gets to mega for free, so that's why I took the lower route in this scenario. Because I knew he didn't have armor, but he had enough health to keep fighting.
Ever since. At least now he's running slightly low on the utility of the ammunition he has available there for the rail. But the
Yeah, I didn't catch him with as much damage as I'd like, but it's a decent trap to keep him honest. And I'm trying to soak up the lights as I go to get heavy, but he makes a good read, and he's going to get it. So it's perfect from him to get the heavy and invis to get out, just to get a stack going. Because once Nick starts to get to that 200 range, she becomes very, very tough to deal with. And so here, like I said, what do I need to do as Visor once I've forced out the invis? I need to bait or steal and soak up the vials. And so that's what I did. I knew I could fight for that position and hold it. And so that's why I'm denying that, so that I can use sight again before he gets it back up. Okay, here I use it at a bad opportunity. He actually sees me use it, so then he knows he could just wait out for about 4 to 5 seconds and he'll be fine. I'm like, it's okay, it's not a loss. Let me just maintain position and spam out, and I'll take the heavy.
The rail though, on the open straight, gets a nice tag across and now starts to advance. That's going to be the armor picked up to replenish himself. The mega has been snatched away, but the frag might be stolen.
This was a nice fight from him and a bad one from me. This easily could have went bad.
Try and get some distance between each other.
But as I back off, I'm trying to get, and I'll show you why it's bad. Let me back up actually. Okay, so I know he's going to get mega here. Once I hear the jump pad, I know he's going to go up. Now here's where it's bad. There's nothing for me to safely back up onto. And so I should have known that even though I couldn't hear the light armor, if he dropped and picked it up and then gets the mega, he's picked up 150 total. And likely he's going to have more stack than that even. He's going to be around 225. So even though I'm going to be 200 health, it's not the safest play to make because how far I have to back up to get other items, to get health, to get light armor before the next heavy rotation. With me. So, taking this fight is actually a bad fight for me. He's not as weak as I expected, and I'm very lucky to have gotten out to even be at this point now. But since I haven't heard him chasing so far, I figured I dealt enough damage, and I'm going to have sight soon, that I'm going to try to hold for this heavy that I know the timing of. And so I RJ here early to maintain position, and know that even though I took a bad fight last time, I've reacted to the results of it really well. But that's the thing. That's what you're looking for in these VODs. And that's what I say to people when I play games. I'm like, that play that they made is such a low percentage play. It is bad. It is bad to make that a habit. If I were to try to make that kind of fight a habit where like I barely get away with any health and hope that I get to back on to everything from such a far distance when they have railgun and it's Nyx who is small. She has a small hitbox, so it's harder to hit her from a distance, and she can create different angles with her wall jumping. Even though the outcome of this has been really good for me, the play itself is not something that you want to be putting yourself in consistently. And so that's something for me moving forward. When I have this kind of matchup, I want to avoid that fight as much as I can when that kind of circumstance happens again. What I would want to do instead is maintain position in the middle of the map, figure out where he's going instead, and try to damage him post Mega and delay him from the next heavy. That should be my objective, rather than engaging there and then hoping for the best after that. Yo, Tim, what's up, man? Thanks for the 16-month resub.
Pop off at that point. Like, he's literally had complete control over.
And right now I don't have sight, and I know he's going to have invis soon, but I kind of don't give a shit. Like, I've been taking control of the map here, and I know he's not too stacked that I can still be a bully and continue this control. And that's all I want to do, really. A 4-frag lead is pretty good as long as I maintain, like, the death cycle in this map and control everything but one light armor. Okay, so I've heard the games that he's been playing by the teleporter, and that's why I'm like, I'm not going to go for that fight. I'm just going to back off.
That does force out the ghost walk, but of course, Rapha, he still has the read. He still knows what's going on and what shenanigans are afoot as he starts to chase it down. The shotgun's coming out.
Here, I have the stack to push this and dive this, and so that's what I'm doing. That's why I took a very predictable route to just push off, because I want him to be stuck here with this light stack. It's very hard for people to resist shooting a guy with 100% LG. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm going to fight here. He just took the health. So either I'm going to get the kill right away, or I'm going to position to deny the health to the right.
That's normally a bit of the Rapha special, instead preferring to use the lightning gun in the close
He
range
positions
location.
better than I do and gets away, but I'm like, you know what? I get the light armor and now the heavy armor. So really, it's not that bad. It's another win for me. Small win after small win. Okay, so since I hear him at the vials, I know I have to rush over. I know he's invised here, and I'm making a guess that he's either here or where he's going to end up being, on the other side of Tribolt. And he gets piped. He is down by 4. He is down by 4 with almost just 3 minutes left, so I do understand him trying to fight there. But he kind of hesitated with the weapon selection that he wanted right away. So let's rewind with that, right? So I'm jumping here. He had LG out, which isn't necessarily bad, but if he wanted to fight with LG, he should have positioned like to the left. I hope you can see the cursor here. He wanted to position more over here to this little like walkway instead. Him just being on here on the edge is very bad. If he would have positioned more here and been able to use the wall to double jump and create different, angles for the fight, it actually would have been a good one for him. But because he chose that at that positioning and can't even utilize his passive yet, it's a bad move from him. And so then I managed to hit the rocket pop. I have enough of a stack that I just finish the fight, and that's it. So now it's 5-0, and my thought is, okay, I'm kind of weak, so the rest of this game needs to be me just playing to maintain the lead and just win the game. If any crazy, like he overextends to try to kill me, then I'll try to take advantage of that. Or if I need to trade my life so that he gets a kill but he's very weak, then I'll do that as well, since I have that 5-frag cushion.
That was one of the riskier moves, but Cha1n felt forced to make. Just Rapha again, understanding what was going on.
So there, since I knew I was running out of sight, I figured he might double back. And that's why I waited a little bit extra. And here, missing the heavy with the RJ has prevented me from getting Mega. So I know I have to play even slower now. That's why I'm just rotating to gain high ground. Figure out where he's coming from. Okay. So he's used, he used the Ghost Walk, so I quickly RJ'd over because the time that it takes for Nyx to wall jump across mid to that catwalk, it takes a while. It'd be like she'd barely be coming out of invis to reach the catwalk once she comes out of it, right? Which would give me an advantage. That's why with the stack that I had, I was like, okay, I'm just going to quickly get out of here and maintain a good position. I have all guns and give myself the best option to fight.
He didn't fancy having to pay the toll. Rapha uses the sight. He's going to have a clear inkling of
There's good use of the wall jump to deal a lot of damage and make that very hard for me. And what a nice read from him with the Tribolt.
That's a good taste of his own medicine.
I thought he would go for heavy because he finally is going to get full control of the map and that he's got little time, that he would leave he would leave to go get that and then try to hurry up to Mega. It was a very good read from him to catch a nice angle for the item that he knew I was likely going to go for. So it was a good frag from him.
To make sure he picks up the pace. Finally gets
So now I spawn on Mega side though, and so I'm not doing too bad. I don't overcommit by going for my old weapon. I see where he's going since he might cut it off anyway, and I get out safely. Because remember, now is survival time.
One rocket and a dream. Luckily,
Very,
he's
very
stopped
nice
himself there
second
as well. He
rocket.
always had them squirreled away and stolen. He's firing off with a rail, hoping.
I would have rather seen him like keep trying to rail there, or like once he had knocked me down, like use invis and then chase me, so that then he can get. Well, look at this wonderful, likely Coca-Cola ad. But I would have liked to have seen him be aggressive with Ghost Walk and chase me, because then he can follow me and set up a better secondary fight for himself. Get the kill. Time is of the essence. He needs the frags as fast as possible. So him taking so long to even try to get something to happen there pretty much lost the game for him there.
Just as the Mega comes up,
That was a refreshing sip of Coke. That's my tidbit. Well, if only it was Monster. Sponsor plug.
Missing some of the rails he needs.
Okay, now here I figured he might be nearby, but this is awesome attack from him. He has to try to do something. Very nice use of seeing. He saw that I have rockets out. So once he fires the first one, he gets off of the platform, where I'm thinking, because you have to be in your opponent's head. What is he likely going to do with the gun that he has, based off of my positioning? And so he aggressively jumped at me, which means I have to hit a direct midair, when I'm likely already going to shoot at the ground where he was as soon as he comes out of invis. And that gives him the advantage, and he pushes forward, and really it's just perfect execution of an aggressive ghost walk that he had to make here at the end. I know the spawn is happening, so I know that, okay, as soon as he's looking at me there, I likely need to just hold right away, and I'll be fine. And there, I know he has to over-pursue with the time, and you know, I think we've all learned from DeHang's nail gun and plasma gun over the years that it could be very effective at punishing over pursuit.
Full rocket as well.
That is bizarre.
Pure punishment. And so now the game's in the books and I'm just being aggressive.
Because he knows Cha1n doesn't have anything to work with. So it's a pretty safe gamble pushing in there. Nice rail. But it's not going to be enough.
There's not really much to say anymore. Just I played the Sight and Vial game much better, and just made myself very hard to kill that game. And by the time he finally had control, there just wasn't enough time left for him to do enough, and he had to make too many overly aggressive plays.
Walks away as the champion in that first match.
It was only 7-2, but it definitely feels like it was.
I will get to all of the subs and whatever, and donations and bits, all that things. I will get to that after the VODs are over, everybody.
The damage, though, Cha1n actually came up with higher damage, but we'll see in the match.
So this match would have been even closer if Cha1n played the start better and he didn't give up a free kill. Giving up a free frag at the beginning is so bad as Nyx. Like, you should be the one pretty much. Either A, you get the first frag because you have your invis and you have your get out of jail free card and you can constantly gain good position, or if you die, you are punishing them for it. They are trying to like overextend to get a kill on the board, and then you can get control after that right away because they had to spend so much to get it, and then you can try to get control back and line up 2 to 3 frags to their 1 frag. Yeah, exactly, dude. Nyx is typically in the driver's seat from the get-go. But he misplayed, and literally that one movement error at the beginning where he was trying to double jump over to the teleporter and he failed cost him so much. And that's why we practice our movement, folks. We've all seen these frags just now, so we don't need to see them again. But look at those pickups. Would you just look at that? 13, 14, 15. You'd think I planned that, but I did not. But really it shows the case here. What did I want to do against Nyx? Nyx is going to have high ground most of the game. Which item allows her to have high ground immediately? Mega Health. So I really focused on controlling Mega on Blood Covenant because of that matchup. Now there are different matchups where I actually want to control Heavy more often than Mega, just depending on the champion matchup. If I'm Anarchy, typically I don't want to control Mega as often. I want to make sure I'm always getting the overstacked armor because I can overstack on my health. With the medkit, right? With the injection. But in this matchup, it's already so easy for her to get high ground. I want to deny it as much as possible. And so the fact that I controlled 14 megas is great for me, and literally all the other heavies are just a blessing from being able to make good decisions and constantly chip him down and maintain full control for so long and just keep him out of the game as best as possible. And then, just collecting lights when you can is whatever, and it makes sense that he collected more since he's out of control. Those are the items that he's going to get, and it's typically pretty easy for light champions with their mobility to get the light armors.
Control when it comes to the key items, and I think that really does sort of set the stone.
Set the stone?
Cha1n was a light champion.
It's the sword in the stone or something? What is this?
But that doesn't mean everything. That's not
okay,
really
so I just want to pause this as soon as we get in. All right, so Cha1n is a champ that I know Cha1n likes a lot, and Cha1n is actually very good at playing with Cha1n. He's very good at understanding when to be aggressive with Cha1n on certain maps, where to place turrets, when to place them in battle. But as you guys will learn today, Keel is a decent counter to Cha1n, at least on Veil of Noth, because of how close quarters the fights are, and where Cha1n's going to place his turrets. Now, the reason Keel is a counter to Cha1n is it helps that this map is close quarters. Keel has such a heavy amount of burst damage potential in close range with his grenades. He has good zoning potential as well, so that you can get to items early and you can keep Cha1n from establishing position to then zone you out with the turret, so that the turret can help him with, holding high ground with the teleporter. But the big thing is if an Cha1n, typically you're going to do two things with Cha1n. You're going to place it at a very predictable spot where you try to pinch people in beforehand, or you use it in a fight to block damage for you, or eventually create a distraction target because it takes 120 damage to kill the turret. But guess what? If I'm Keel and I have shotgun or rockets out, all I have to do is just, as long as I shoot first and I don't mess up this combo, because of the, what's it called? Once you use your ability, your grenades, there's like a downtime. There's a cooldown time of like 400 milliseconds before you can shoot again. So what you want to do is you want to shoot with your shotgun and then immediately press grenades. So click, click, or same with rockets. And you can instantly destroy those turrets. So if they try to put out the turret during a fight and you're just like, well, fuck that turret, boom, it's gone instantly. Whereas no other champion can really do that at the moment. Then Cha1n's like, well, shit, I planned on entering this fight having my turret tank damage for me, so that effectively my stack is bigger than what it is, but now that turret's gone. And you're dealing with a champion that can potentially be almost 400 health and armor if he's got full control. And Keel is one of the hardest tanks to hit, especially with Rail. LG, it's pretty even in this fight, trying to fight with LG, and sometimes Cha1n will get the advantage with that. But if you're trying to fight Keel with rockets and rails, it's very difficult because Keel got a buff before QUAKE, and this is before all the champions got their air acceleration improved as well, where Keel takes reduced splash damage. He takes reduced splash damage from Tribolt. So the only way you're ever going to deal a lot of good damage to him with Tribolt is if you hit direct Tribolts. He takes reduced splash damage from rockets. So he's already a big target, but he's shifty. You have to be hitting direct rockets constantly to really take advantage of that. Otherwise, like typically when you would be fighting somebody and you deal nice chunky 80 damage, 80 to 90 damage splash rockets, you're only going to be dealing about 60 damage to him. And 60 damage to a tank who has 300 plus health, that's not a lot. That's going to take a lot of rockets over time to do that. So you have that advantage on this map, and this map is already rocket oriented anyway because of the way that it's set up. So this can be a very, very tough matchup for Aizen, and that's why I counterpicked it with Keel. Now, the way that you want to fight with Aizen is in fights, you want to throw your turret to the side. You want to throw it away from Keel so that he can't just look at you and the turret at the same time. And you can't ever use your turret and stand behind it against Keel, because if he just shoots it with rockets and grenades, you're also going to take splash damage while your turret's being destroyed. So you have to place it to the side so that either he decides to look away from you so that you get free damage, or eventually, if you play it right and the fight lasts long enough, he'll start getting hit from the turret. And we'll see here that Cha1n did not get many opportunities to do that during this game.
Told by the story in the match. So here we go as we carry on. Let's see how it's going to.
And so now I know that, you know, he knows I have heavy, and when he went to rocket that fast to get it, I know he hasn't collected Mega yet. And I'm like, okay, well, I just did a nice chunk of damage with shotgun, and I'm over 300 health with a bunch of grenades in a small room. He's not going to want to fight me. So this is a free chance for me to just wait for rocket and get one of the main guns on the map right away.
Comeback kid for a reason. So let's see if he can live up.
And so now I know that he's going to do his best to try to deny LG. So I just need to try to avoid rocket traps from him and being caught mid-range with LG from him. Okay, so I noticed I pushed him through the portal. This is my chance to get this. And it's no problem. It's no problem that he's going to go get heavy, because I'm going to get through, I'm going to take the turret out right away, and I'm going to have positional advantage. And I have railgun. I know he hasn't been to the railgun side of the map. That makes it so that if he overcommits and then decides, I need to back out, I could potentially deal crippling damage to him with railgun. So here he's done really good damage. Hasn't taken any, but it's not going to matter too much, as I collected all of the items after the fact.
Of key items, or will it just be to do raw face damage? Only time will tell. Right now, though, an awkward bit of a.
So now I'm just maintaining position. I know he likely needs rockets after that last fight with all of the spam, and I catch a free rail. And so here I'm baiting the fact that he knows heavy comes up so much before Mega that I might try to get it and then RJ up, so he's trying to gain position early this time. So I'm just leaving the item up and see what he does first. And I catch him out positionally, but I whiff. And I'm still valuing Mega over everything, because I'm on a map as a tank with not one, not two, not three, but 4 light armors. So there's 200 armor worth of light armors on the map. So if I'm controlling the Mega and constantly keeping my health up, I can get those light armors and almost be at the 125 stack constantly. It's going to be so hard for him to close in on frags and to kill me. Yep, so here I'm just trying to catch him being cheeky for different angles. And here I'm covering off his exit. He's likely not going to want to back up into the grenade to go back through the portal and play the portal game. So I'm making a hard read here and rocket jumping up, since I'm already covered myself with a grenade, and see if I can catch him with damage. So I rail him, cover the exit, and get an easy frag. And so now look how stacked I am, and I didn't even have to collect a Mega or a Heavy yet. I'm just trying to figure out where he is, what's he gonna do. Again, I'm trying to see what he's gonna do. I don't have to just drop and collect. I'm stacked enough and have weapons, and I have position. So I catch him coming through the teleporter. Nice use of weapons and switching from rocket to rail. And I get the frag. So now I know I need railgun to maintain a chokehold on this map. So I just go to collect it as I chase him with a little bit of damage, and then get positioning again. Now, if he's weak enough, if he ends up being weak enough, since I'm in the lead, I will go to the rail room and I will push to kill him. But he's got to be like 100 health waiting for the armor, so that then I can use grenades to lob them in that area and possibly catch free damage that he can't really dodge. And then he'll be in a spot where he can't really escape. But otherwise, I'm just going to let him be, and I'm going to keep looking for him at spots where he's trying to rotate to gain aggressive positions again.
100 health.
Like here at lower. I catch him with perfect LG, so I know it's time to push. And everybody, let's recap. What's the passive that Keel? What did I say that Keel got added to his passive before QuakeCon? He got the passive added where he takes reduced splash damage. And does Aizen have an LG yet? No, he does not. So there in that fight where he's already in bad positioning and I've caught him with so much LG, it's time to chase and fight in this area. Even though he's going to be using rockets, I'm going to have to say, okay, he has to hit 3 full-on direct rockets for me to lose this fight. So it's good for me to push because I'm going to be taking reduced damage from that. And so it's fine. I go, collect Mega, collect the light, and realize I'm going to give up heavy, but it's fine. Because I've collected Mega, and now we're going to be about the same stack once I collect this.
Yeah, and obviously slowly ticking down now.
And so that's not coming up for a while, so I'm maintaining a better position to try to stop him. So I can always fall back.
He's constantly on such a high stack with Keel. You can just maintain these strong choke point positions, and there isn't much that Cha1n can do.
It's like ZSX knows what he's talking about.
Showing him anything out in the open. You can see him.
Okay, so here I take a positional advantage, knowing that if I'm jumping out, the person isn't likely, from where I'm jumping, going to expect me to go towards what we called elbow when it was 2v2 for this map. He'll expect me to try to jump for the heavy. So what I'm doing is, if he has high ground and he's baiting it, I want to get into a position that forces him to hopefully pick one or the other.
Carefully treading around the map so Cha1n has no option.
And I know that him laying that down is probably bait, so I just take it out and take the heavy. And I was right. He went back for Mega. And so now I still have Mega ticking down from before, since we haven't really had a big fight yet. And I just have positional advantage.
This position in the Mega health room to choke out any life that Cha1n might have. Whereas Cha1n knowingly cannot engage because of Rapha's stack. He's stuck down on those lower levels.
So here I know he might go for heavy first.
Especially to deny control.
And I successfully bait him to try to go for Mega. And so here I'm going to RJ just before he goes through the portal, so I'm going to get there first.
Over towards the heavy, starts to initiate the fight. Beautiful timing. Launches himself over to steal away the Mega.
And even if I don't get the kill here, it's fine. That's why I didn't want to overchase for that kill, because I'm 110 health, 60 armor. It could potentially go bad. If I eat 2 rockets without being able to deal damage, it's better to just lead. I have a 3-0 lead. I don't need the kill right now. I can get it a bit later. I can keep working small scenarios to add up to a kill. So I'm like, let me go get the heavy and make sure that I'm unkillable now. And by moving to this position, I've denied not 1 but 2 armors. And so now this is the situation where he's weak. I'm trying to get the kill. And he did. He did a great job of dealing max damage before he died. So now I'm tentatively waiting at this position to listen. And I realize he's not pushing. And so then I can go get Mega. He made a mistake there. He had every right in the world, after dealing all that damage, to push from the spawn, to rush LG, to rush the portal, and get full control of the map. But he made the mistake there of not understanding the rotation. He might not have precise timing of the items, and so he chose the safer option in that case. Where he's been making more aggressive choices, but that was the time to make an aggressive choice, and he slipped up in doing that. Probably because he was unsure of the timing of the items. And so now I'm back to almost unkillable stack again. Ooh, nice shot. So I immediately backed off and didn't shoot, because if I got caught shooting a wrong weapon, he could go through the portal while I'm shooting down at him, and then the ammo that I'm shooting down there is not ever going to hit him, because he's going to go through the portal anyway. So it's better for me to just position as if he's going to rush through and get ready for that and to back off. And I just need to rocket jump to secure position the items again. And so I took a shit ton of damage, but it's okay, because I've recouped it all. All the grenades. It's really hard to fight in that room against Keel. Okay, so I'm being even more aggressive right now. I'm trying to chase him down, take the last armor so that he has to keep running. Otherwise, he has to hit like 3 to 4 rails in a row to kill me. So he's doing what he can to get this next mega health. And there, that was a bad weapon choice from me. As soon as he hit the pad, I should have switched to railgun.
You wouldn't have known if you hadn't seen, because it's instantly been stripped from him.
And there, if I was any other champ, I might have died to rockets. But I lived because of the splash damage being reduced. And here, I should have honestly died. But he somehow whiffs some LG, and I just catch him in a really good strafe angle that I know he's going to want to try to take because of my positioning. And I got around him just enough that he had to turn his mouse, and I get the kill. If I didn't get the kill there, it's okay. Like, I would have dealt max damage and been alright with a 6-1 lead. But I did the right dodge move during the middle of the fight, and I managed to keep the frag lead going, extend it. Nice little just prediction from sound cues, knowing he needs to move through the map and get guns, and he's running out of time, so he has to be more predictable. That is the problem. The more that the game goes on and you're down in frags, the more predictable you tend to have to be.
Really giving us a display of that right now. Getting the advantage across. Elevated angle in play. Shoots down a single rail that will boop onto Cha1n. He gets knocked himself, but just uses it a matter of time to escape.
Here I know he's probably baiting it, so that's why I'm playing much more safely. Nice rail. So here I'm trying to deny angles, figure out where he's going, so I can get on by, hopefully. Or I just would have stayed there for a while, and I would have just tried to deal damage as he left. I don't know what he was looking for there on the bottom, but I got like 100 free LG damage before he even reacted.
We can see the way in which Rapha has strategized.
And so now the only way that I lose this game is if I keep pushing after I die. And I keep throwing. You know me, I ain't gonna do that. But we need frags in the Quake Pro League, potentially for tiebreakers, so I'm gonna keep looking for those as safely as I can. Ooh, look at that lag out. I'm very lucky to have gotten away with that. Coke! Coke, how about you come donate a bunch to me since you're interrupting my VOD review session with all these ads?
I was so shocked and so excited.
Probably one of the happiest moments of my life.
All right, pull the top up. We totally didn't expect that Coke was going to level up our stream the way that they did.
I just got so emotional.
I'd just like to thank Twitch and Coke for this great experience.
It was so cool to have Coke Gaming bring us out to Twitch HQ.
It feels surreal to be a new Twitch partner. Thank you very much.
And maintain that.
No, thank you. I can get back to my regularly scheduled programming. Oh, look at that bounce. That's also what's really good about Keel, is that Mega, you can bounce them off that rock wall right near the Mega platform.
Up top, he has a light armor as soon as he drops down. So he's basically got 200 health and armor in that room. It's crazy.
Oh, we spoke about the tribal as well. It's so nice to witness the moves that come through from him. Turret looked a little bit confused there.
Yeah, I think Turret didn't know what was going on.
He was spooked.
Oh no. And Cha1n didn't even make the jump. That hurt his...
Look at this. And I love this too. This happens on Blood Run as well. Situations where you can like lay so many angles of projectile spam and zoning with Tribolt and grenade spam. You can just cover and blanket so much space there that it's really hard for people to get out without taking anything.
Finally, they're on cooldown for once.
Does get a kill, even if it's a mutual kill. That will make him feel somewhat better as Rapha has.
So here, I know the timing of this, so I'm just going to wait.
It's only just come into the game though.
And I figure he's going to be aggressive, so I'm going to push back with aggression first. Sometimes it is better to, like, if you know somebody's going to be aggressive, you want to just get the jump on that so that they're not ready for it.
He looks unbeatable right
Yeah, in this matchup. And I think I wasn't sure about the kill pick. I'm not a big fan of the champion. That's just the way I play him. Rapha has shown me he's more than viable.
Oh yeah, if you use them the right way, especially the way he's been using it to get the edge over Aizen, it's been quite smart.
I think it's the way in which he's
I did lose the shutout, yes.
The maintenance of his position in the Mega Health Room has been a stroke of genius. It's quite easy to get caught up in cycling the items, but he's realised he doesn't need that. The rocket, sorry, the
It's just garbage time, folks. That's all.
Points and lots of little rooms, as you say, can bounce off the ceiling.
But I played the matchup that I needed to play to perfection.
That would have been a very frustrating.
Constantly took out the turret immediately, played the positions and kept rotating for fights that are good for Keel, tried to stay out of constant rail battles, tried to stay out of LG to LG fights. I wanted to take LG fights where I'm super overstacked, or I'm going to be picking up the major item during the fight. Otherwise, you don't want to take those as Keel, because you do have that bigger hitbox and the other champs will light you up. So let's speed up. Let's get to the next map. And so what's interesting about this scale and clutch matchup is both are big, beefy boys. They have a lot of health and armor. They're both actually pretty mobile with their unique movements, and they both have damage reduction with their abilities. But the way that you use the damage reduction is so different. And the key for Clutch winning this matchup is he has got to win rail angles. He has to get like free rails to be able to push in and then use his ability to take Scalebearer down. Scalebearer needs to constantly force LG fights, machine gun, and rail fights, and use shotgun. Not really going to want to use rockets. Clutch's dodging, like the way that his air dodging works, is... Hold on, I need a drink. Give me a second. Is that it actually makes him much harder to hit with rockets. So you want to be hitting that big red barn with hit scan weapons as best as you can. And I don't know, like I just went into this matchup thinking that Scale likely has the advantage because his hitbox is a little bit smaller than Clutch's is, and I just felt like in this matchup that I would be able to utilize movement to gain control and just be overbearing in that sense, and not really going to use charge too much to get kills, but to reduce damage. And there was a time or two I actually should have got a frag like set up with the charge, but I ended up messing it up big time. Well, it's a good start from him to get there early to deal rocket damage. Yeah, instantly you want to get out of there as Clutch. I like this attempt, but what did I do with charge? Did I go back in with just rockets and like machine gun? No. I was like, you know what? I can get out of here. I can get out of here with taking barely any damage, and he's not going to chase me up the fucking jump pad. That's asking for death. So now I've got a better stack. It doesn't matter that I don't have charge yet, and I'll just slowly collect more guns and try to engage him soon.
I'm going to turn and run with my bull rush. But as we say now, there is not much Cha1n can do for the next 15 seconds. Doesn't want to be too susceptible to damage,
so he did a good job of getting out of heavy while taking minimal damage.
But at the end of the day, he is by far and away.
I wasn't able to get there fast enough because he had good spams with his rockets to keep me from getting the LG angle necessary to pin him in the air.
A minute already gone by between these two. Cha1n trying to hide behind that pillar.
So this is kind of what you need to do as Clutch. When you're out of control, you need to play a very slow game. You need to listen, and you have to get the first shot and run away. You have to get good rocket damage as people are coming through chokes. You have to get free rails so that they can set you up to try to make people think they can still fight you for items, but then you use the shield and you win the fight.
Pretty broad shoulders.
Traps every day.
And so here, I knew I could do this because I have charge.
Oh no. Wow. Okay, well there's the ball rush, the full front
And so
row
he
sweep
actually
coming through as
came out
he's got
much,
a
much
body
better than
slam
he should have there.
into Cha1n.
But it didn't matter. I took everything on the map. I know that right now he doesn't likely have 100 armor, so as long as I keep this cycle going, I'm going to win the war of attrition.
With these heavy champions, as we said, the mega health is a more impactful item overall.
Here, I don't have charge, so I don't just go in here. I take my time, figure out where he is, and then once I know he's all-inning with LG, I'm just lighting him up because he's clutch. And I know the exact timing of Mega, so I knew how long I could stay for that fight. Also, if something went bad, I was getting charge up soon, so if I needed to escape or to finish chasing to all-in, then I'd be perfectly fine. And this is a very bad fight from him to try to take, and this is good for me. So I'm gonna retrace this and show you guys why. So this armor, I'm gonna deny this right now, and then what do I know? Once I've heard him go to LG, I know that that armor is up. I can't take it yet, but neither can he because I'm keeping him from here. So I know that if I engage him at rail, since Clutch needs rail in this matchup to try to chip me down and then close the gap, I'm going to try to fight him for it. So here, I start to engage in a little fight, and I know he's going to escape now. So this is okay. There's so much time before the next heavy that I'll have enough time, whether I deal damage or not, to go cycle and go get the light armor at Nailgun and make it as if this rail doesn't even matter. And I hit the rail, so I've done 180 damage, and realistically, he's only done, 40 damage because 90 minus 50 is 40. So essentially, it was 180 damage to 40 damage fight, and he's piped. He has nothing now. So it doesn't matter that he has shield. I'm taking all the items, and now I can get heavy and continue the cycle that I've got going on here.
6 seconds, plenty of time to drop down. And drop down safely at that.
Almost catch him there. Almost. Figured that he might come out up top. And I didn't know at the time that he was like just around the corner, but it was just a good guess from me. I rail him, he's really weak. I'm going to RJ here to try to catch him going for health. He's not there, so I'm like, okay, let me rotate around. And I'm like, Heavy's about to come up and he knows that, so let me check. He can't contest Heavy yet. So I'm going to check the nail room first. And I catch him. Like, okay, he's gotten to a good position. I can't finish the kill, but maybe I can deal more damage. I go and I catch him on the double back here, looking for more health.
And it is going to slay.
So now I can take Mega, this armor again.
We said that Cha1n needs to play perfect if he's going to take this map from Rapha, and at the minute it's Rapha that's definitely pulling out slightly more refined play.
And here I'm getting up here early because I know he's likely going for rockets. I hear him there, so I'm just spamming to make sure I'm safe. Here I switch to LG. Fight's going badly, so I'm like, alright, I have to back out now. So I use the charge to get away. I get this, and I have to take this. I'm like, even if he engages me, I have to take this so that the fight that he wins here, he doesn't get any items over. If he wants to push and try to fight me here, be my guest. I deal 160 damage. If I got that shotgun off, I might have made him even weaker. So here, I think my thought process is, okay, I did a shit ton of damage, post items, he has nothing to collect, Heavy's coming up soon, I want to aggress towards there. So I do. Machine gun cessing him to keep him away, but I know I can chase him down with shotgun. And so I get the frag, so it's 3-1 again. And I took that fight thinking that he wasn't going to get his shield back up again for like another 5 seconds. So there is just a misguesstimation from me as to when he would get that back up. Otherwise, I should have just dropped to rail and tried to deal safe damage. But I know that I dealt a lot of damage here, so off the spawn, he hasn't been able to try to chip away at me. I'm going to try to be aggressive here soon again for this next heavy. Tank versus tank games are very, very strange because most of the time when you get frags, you're going to be out of control for getting the frag. Like, that's the price that you pay. Because the other tank will spawn with so much health. And this is a miracle. Miracle of a kill to come out of that situation, even with ability. And I spawned at the other side of the portal. So I just figured I'd zone him right away.
Didn't expect it to be up just then.
Here I somehow miss him with charge, which would have set up into shotgun combo.
Much damage. Cha1n hit that.
And so now I just have to play slow, because it's 3-3. Nice rail from him, and this is so sick. Good execution from him there on those shots, and utilizing Clutch's movement.
Actually could be huge for his confidence as well. If he can try and thrive off this and add more and more.
Moving there and getting that kill, that shot, secured me mega, because he's not going to drop on me with LG as he has no shield. So even though I lost the frag, I'm down. Now I can get control back again. What does zoning mean? Zoning is like you're wanting to establish position so that you can either... The enemy has to make a very tough choice. Do they push into your position with less health and armor and likely a bad weapon? Like, you have the weapon advantage, so you'll deal more damage first. So it kind of like, it makes them make that hard choice to take a bad fight and hope that they win it, or they're likely going to go to option B and to go to a different part of the map. So it's forcing them to go to A or B, and you can always keep track of them. It's taking position to zone them into an area that you want them to be in so that you can secure items or secure frags or shots, things like that. A lot of Quake is all about knowing what positioning and weapons to use and take constantly. Keep moving, keep rotating to the proper positions to make the most impactful decision.
If he cannot get onto this heavy armor, Rapha's taken the whole map away from him.
So here he's clutch and he's got the movement to be able to try to run for a while, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to play it really safe, just use sound cues and get away,
He is being chased.
which he's doing a good job with.
Looking for him.
I love it.
But here I end up catching him back at waiting for the armor,
Cha1n reluctant
and I get the frag. He should have just continued to run.
He was caught slightly off guard. by the
Just
timing.
continue to run until there literally is like an absolute free item to get.
Live to fight another day with that ability.
And so there I deal a shit ton of damage,
With the side jump.
have timing on Mega exactly now, and this is what I'm doing. Watching an ad apparently again, son of a biscuit.
Dollar for dollar. Millions of people a year get their cash back matched. What are you waiting for?
So
Unlimited cash
this is
back
the
match.
perfect opportunity, Kublin. So after that fight, what's the next item up in the rotation? It's the light armor at nail at nail. And so I need to gain position so that if he pushes there, I will kill him. So he either makes the hard choice, or guess what? I take position so that he goes away. And so that now I can get the full stack.
Nearly 7 minutes here now, 4-4. Surprisingly, it has been quite a close, basically mirror matchup between the two.
Exactly it. Played in very similar styles.
So here I'm just taking full control like this, and then I'm going to try to find him, because it doesn't matter that he has his shield. I'm so stacked, I have charge.
Nevertheless, Cha1n is playing it very, very well. Keeping
That is a mistake. If he's clutch there, and he hears me chasing him, he needs to go towards the rail entrance over here. This is where he needs to go, because he can get out of sight faster and then reset his jump, and then keep going towards the rail portal, and I wouldn't be able to catch him. Him doing that, it takes so long to get down this hallway, it ended up giving me a free rail angle.
out of harm's way as much as he can when its shield's not up.
So here I RJ to chase him.
Whereas
He
Rapha
makes the right decision not to all in.
doesn't use the ball
And
at
so
all.
it's fine though. I keep taking all the items that he can possibly get.
Rapha's aim is the one that's a bit suspect. Cha1n's hitting the good shots. Nevertheless, Rapha Rapha's still in control.
4-4, but I have full control, and he can't do much. And there, I'm baiting and trying to think what he's trying to think. You know, like, where does he want to be? He doesn't likely want to be stuck in Nail Room anymore. It's better for him to be over by Rockets. So he's going to try to obtain position in the middle of the map while he thinks I'm going to go get for Mega. And that's why I attempted to look for this angle and this damage, and it worked out perfectly for me. Now he's really weak. And I catch him hesitating on what decision to make there.
Lands there, poised for just a mere millisecond before he pulls the trigger and ends the life.
Here I'm mindful of the ammo. I get it back.
And finally an advantage for him as he starts.
And here I'm playing safe because I know he has shield. But I am so stacked again. It doesn't matter that he's going to have shield, and I know the precise timing of Mega, and he's here too early. So it's time to fight, because I'm going to hit almost 100% LG anyway. He has to be like dodging with air dodging, and then that affects his LG aim, so I'm like, this is a good fight for me to take. I should be able to kill him and get the Mega.
Just inevitable as Rapha played those last few frags to perfection.
Playing the numbers game as well, the calculated angles.
Exactly. It felt like for the first few minutes, Rapha felt a bit confident in taking Cha1n in these one-on-one situations.
Trying to deny Vials because I know he wants to get shield back, that he has to have it to do anything at this point, especially since he's down. So again, I'll fight here because I've been taking the items, and I know that this light armor, the side of the map he's on, is after the Mega pickup.
7-4 as we hit the 9-minute mark now.
So here is what I was talking about before this matchup. This is a time where I know he doesn't have shield, and shotgun is usually a very, very good weapon against clutch. But for some reason this match, my shotgun was dog shit and was not dealing like any good damage against a big target. And so I'm like, okay, I have charge, I have damage reduction. When I can use that, I'm going to get in close and try to kill him and get like an 8-4 lead, and that'll be that, and the game will be over.
If Cha1n's getting back into it,
when in reality, I should have stayed at the doorway, dealt a little bit extra damage, and I did like nothing. He's got 140 health left. It was a horrible, horrible execution there. And then here I'm like, okay, I know he's weak though. Before Heavy's coming up, let me rush here and try to get him with shotgun again, because he's a big target. It should be dealing like almost 80 a chunk at this range.
It's definitely achievable.
Like that, but it's not for me. And so I end up giving up 2 frags and an opportunity for him to come back and potentially win the game. So there, even though I could have shut the game out with an extra kill, I really shouldn't have. I should have just done the safer thing at chipping away at him, leaving him weak, and just trying to rotate the map.
This is perfect. You've still got 50 seconds to get another frag.
Yeah, and he has his ability up as well. He can just charge him.
It wasn't the best positive EV play to make. Yes, the rewards of winning it would have been great, and I had good percentages, but the failure, like what happens if I fail, is way too high of a price, and I'm paying for it. But now I know like he has to get this next heavy, and he doesn't have upper position, so I'm just trying to deal as much damage as I can safely. Finally I'm hitting some rails this game. I hit 3 in a row. And I know that I have to try to just outrun him at this point. So I pick a position to try to listen, and then I'm going to go the opposite way. So I'm waiting by the LG jump pad in this situation. See that he's done the fake, so I just go back up, use the charge, and I'm gone.
But it does not matter. Rapha, ball rushing his way through the back door to escape. Cha1n gets it to the 9-minute mark, brings it back with 1 frag being the distance, and then was so timid.
But that's one of those where like I almost threw, and that's something to watch in the VOD review. Like, why did I almost throw? And if you look at it and you look at the whole situation of the game, did I have to push into that range like I did? No. If I wanted to, I needed to just stay at the doorway. Just deal chip damage. Not go out into the hallway and then try to work my way forward. I either needed to fully commit with charge right away or stay at the doorway. And I kind of tried to see how the fight would go. And then had to hit the panic button. And then it still didn't help. You know, I hit the charge. I'm trying to hit him. I miss. And then I'm not even hitting him well with shotgun anyway. As the fight progressed. Exactly, Zorak. Rat style works sometimes. You got to do it. Everybody has to at some point.